In the Convology Plus community, a question recently came up about how to add people to countdown timer, or specifically dynamic countdown timers inside of a high-level campaign. And they told me that would make a good YouTube video idea, and I agree. So let's go over how to do that. So let's go ahead and inside of HighLevel, go to Marketing, Countdown Timers, click New. Doesn't matter what you choose here, we're just creating a template. We'll continue with this template. The type of timer that we're talking about here is a dynamic timer, meaning it's going to be the same for everybody, just depending on when they enter into the campaign. And a caveat about the dynamic timer that some people don't really realize is that the dynamic timers, since they are unique to each individual person, they are tied to that person's email address. If the countdown timer doesn't know who they are and they're not a contact record, then it has no idea how much time should be left on the countdown timer for that unique individual person. So it has to be triggered by an email. However, when you initiate that countdown timer, it's going to depend on the type of campaign that you're doing. And the question that I got was, well, can I trigger this countdown timer campaign from a trigger link instead of, let's say, a form that somebody fills out? And the answer is yes. So remember, all that matters is that the person get the email that triggers this campaign. You can see it here that the email trigger is when the email is sent or when they open the email. When the email is sent is what I would say 99.9% of you are going to want to leave this as. So let's save this. I'm going to call this my YouTube demo trigger link campaign. The goal here is to essentially only initiate it if somebody clicks on a trigger link. So I'm going to hit save. Now again, regardless of whether somebody clicks on a trigger link, has nothing to do with the countdown timer starting for them. They have to get, or be sent rather, the email that contains the countdown timer. Let's say somebody's in your newsletter, and in your newsletter you casually mention, I've got this great workshop, but you know behind the scenes to that workshop, you've got this amazing scarcity countdown timer where for the next 24 to 48 hours or whatever timer you set, they can get your program at 50% off. And your whole thing is funneling people from newsletters or wherever to get that. The key is you have their email, so they can click a trigger link to start this just like they would if they filled out a form. So we're going to go to automations, and we're going to create a workflow. We're going to start from scratch. Now, this is our campaign that sends them the email that has the countdown timer in it. So we're going to need to create an email. I'm going to show you the way that I like to do it. But our trigger is going to be that they get added to this workflow. And how are they going to get added to the workflow? Well, the default way that you might be trying to avoid is by filling out a form. So form submitted. Let's just randomly say if they fill out, the form is form number 2. Let's say the workshop form. If they fill out the workshop form, terrific, they're added to the workflow, and then they'll get the email that we add into here. But we could also initiate this workflow from a trigger link. Now, one doesn't exist yet, but I'm just showing you that we're going to say they click on a trigger link, and that trigger link is, now let me show you how to go create that. So I'm going to save this temporarily, and I'm going to open up a new tab. Let's come over here under Marketing, Trigger Links, add a link. We'll call this our workshop opt-in. I don't know, you can give it a specific name, workshop opt-in trigger link. And the URL, obviously a link has to have a URL. So you should have a funnel already that is your workshop funnel, the thing that you're trying to get people to go watch. And I'm assuming you've got either a confirmation page, or if someone fills out the form, they just go right to watching the workshop. Whatever that link is, put it inside of here and then hit save. I just put in my own website, the placeholder. So here's our trigger link. So we'll copy this, we'll come back into here, and the trigger link is, I got to refresh this. So we'll just hit save and then hit a little refresh. So they could fill out the form, or they could come over here, click a trigger link, and that trigger link is our workshop opt-in. There we go. We're not done yet. Hit save. We want to send them the email that has the countdown timer in it. So we're going to go to our marketing, emails, and I like to create my emails as templates. So we'll click new. And I have a whole video, by the way, on how to create email templates. I will link to it down below in the description. Probably we'll also put it at the end of this video as well. Let's create a new blank template. We'll use the design editor just to give you the idea. Spruce this up, make it look nice. I have a video all about that. But we're going to look for countdown timer. And we're just going to put the countdown timer in the email. Now on the left-hand side here, notice there is our dynamic countdown timer that we created. I'm selecting it, and now it appears here. Alternately, I could add a code element, and I could paste in the code from the campaign. There is or used to be a bug where the element, this little countdown element here that you drag in, looked a little bit like pixelated. But if you use the code, it got around it. I think they fixed that issue. But if not, drag in the code, copy the code of your countdown timer. It works perfectly. I've done it both ways. So now that our countdown timer is in an email, let's change this to say email with countdown. We'll save our template. And this is the email that says, hey, welcome to the workshop. Here's how you go watch it. And just so you know, I've got a special offer down below. You've got 48 hours to take advantage of it, whatever your timer might be. But the key is the timer does not start until it's in an email that they receive. If you don't want the timer to start yet, don't put it in the first email. It'll start in whatever email in your workflow sends them the email with the countdown timer. So there's our template. We'll save it. We'll come back in here and give this a refresh so that it appears. We'll come down here and we'll add send email. Now, what are we choosing? We're choosing our template for email with countdown. There it is. There's our email with countdown. Hit save action. Now, whether someone goes into our funnel and fills out our form to be added into the workshop funnel. By the way, I have a whole video about workshop funnels. That's the video I'll link at the end of this video, but I'll put them all down below in the description. That's where you'll find them all. So now, whether somebody fills out the form because maybe they went to our website, a little pop-up came up that said, hey, check out this workshop I've got. Oh, you want to sign up? Give me your name and your email. They fill out the form. That's one way in. The other way, you send a newsletter. Hey, did you know I've got a workshop all about this? If you're interested, just click this link below. I'll automatically sign you up. It's nice because it skips the form. But what it also does, because it knows who they are, it triggers the workflow that sends them the email that contains the countdown timer either way. And now they're inside of your countdown timer. You could put a wait right in here. Wait for, let's just say 24 hours. Maybe this was like a 48-hour countdown timer. Send them another email that you probably should create as a template that says, hey, there's 24 hours left to take advantage of this great offer. And then you can send them another one 12 hours later. There's 12 hours left, another one 8 hours later. You get the idea. So that there is a quick crash course on how to start countdown timers for people on your email list who don't fill out a form to opt in for anything, but you just want them to click a trigger link to drop them into the same campaign that they would have been dropped into had they submitted a form or shown interest in joining the campaign in another way. If you have any quick questions about how to do any of this or about what I've just shown you here, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to learn more about HighLevel and be able to ask questions of your own, just like this, check out Convology Plus, link in the description.